Hello, everybody. It's good to talk to you again, and I still have to apologize. We're trying to get these videos up. We're probably still 6 behind, so I'm putting them out faster than Chris can get them up. So I apologize not getting back with you on this. This lady's asked me about, or I guess it's a female, asked me about Cushing's, where you have a hyperstimulation of the cortical steroids in the adrenal glands. And it can also be the pituitary that's hyperstimulating the adrenal glands. But if you notice, a lot of the symptoms also are parathyroid symptoms. So if you start looking at Cushing's, you'll find that it is the endocrine glands that are giving you these problems, no question. So when something is hyperstimulating or hypostimulating, which if you look at some of the symptoms, it means that it's hypostimulating, if you will. It's shutting down, if you will, the parathyroid gland. And I'll say that most of the symptoms are not hypersymptoms. Most of the symptoms are hyposymptoms, also involving the medulla of the adrenal glands and neurotransmitters, why the fatigue. If you start looking at the symptoms and understanding the different steroids, the different neurotransmitters, you'll start seeing that it encases a lot of the endocrine glands. So more pituitary based. But if you're having trouble with the pituitary, what is the pituitary made from? Just a bunch of cells, that's correct. And where you find cells, what else do you find? The two fluids that handle the health of those cells. So when you have something that's hyperstimulating tissue, it's either a chemical ingestion of, probably not a neurotoxin, because a neurotoxin has a tendency to suppress the endocrine glands. So it could be heavy metals, it could be just the lymph system, which is not moving well in the head area. Almost everybody has the adrenals anyway, so that's a given. Especially when you see the cortisols, it's not hyperstimulating cortisol, it's under, so that's why you see the diabetes type 2. Health of all the cells of the human body, whether it's the adrenals, the pituitary, the parathyroid, or into the organs of the liver, the kidneys, is always a cellular thinking. You have to always think cellular. And this whole process I've been bringing you guys along is to think cellular and the two fluids. I just had a lovely osteopath in here. She was also an ophthalmologist. I couldn't believe that. Very lovely gal. And just loves this level of healing. And that's what we need to see more. More osteopaths becoming more osteopathic than allopathic. And this ego of wanting to become allopathic is going to soon show itself to not be as worthy as you think, because this is not the field you want to be in. You want to be in the healing, restoration, rebuilding, genetic remembering cell. You want to be in regeneration. You want to know the causative factors. And that's what I'm working with you guys on, and you're all doing such a good job, and I appreciate all these great things. So, when you have Cushing's, when you have MS, when you have cancer, when you have anything, throw the name disease away, because that doesn't exist, right? Disempowerment, remember? And focus on the cells and the two fluids. Whether something's hypo or hyper, you're going to go the same direction. If there is a hypersensitivity to something or hyperstimulation, but if you read the symptoms, you find more hypo in 90% of the symptoms of Cushing's. So you're going to get into the cell and make the cell healthy again. Even though there's some genetic thinking problems in cells, okay, well, you're going to remember those cells. You're going to give them new memories. You're going to power them up, introduce cells to a new level of functionability. And how do you do that? You're going to introduce them to higher consciousness. You're going to introduce them, just like you grow, into more truth. And truth, in terms of the human body, is raw fruits. We're frugivores. You can add raw vegetables, okay. This is the truth. And truth carries with it consciousness. We'll take a look at what is plants. Plants have a consciousness. All things are pieces of the whole consciousness. These are states of consciousness. Everything is conscious at one level or another. And merging consciousnesses together makes more strength and power. It's neat because let's say you're a carpenter and someone hires you to come into their house and do work. Well, that's what you're doing with the plants. This plant is a liver plant. We take and hire, basically, this plant to come in and fix our liver. And that's how we do the herbs. We use them for their specialty and what they're here for. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because if we look at our repertoire of tools that we need to help ourselves, we don't have many. So this is why. But we don't need many. We don't have to have, like, pharmaceuticals that are a mile long. We don't have to have homeopathics that are a mile long. We don't have to have these things. I've got 55 herbal formulas, so that's a lot. But the good examples that a lady here with cancer in the lungs, she bleeds all the time, and her oncologist said, well, you're probably going to bleed out and die that way. It's like, oh, man, I have a bleeding formula. That formula stops internal bleeding. So she can use that and strengthen her capillaries at the same time with working on the parathyroid, and she'll be okay, and we can keep working and working and working. That's the beauty. If any practitioners are viewing this, this is the beauty of botanicals. You can use them as antispasmatics, as homeostatics, or hemostatics. You can use them as anything you want. The range that they have is so incredible. It's amazing. But on the Cushing's, you're going to go right into the kidneys. You're going to detoxify that lymph system. You're going to get on the raw foods. You could use upper circulation, and I would be careful about overstimulating glandular function if there's any hypertendencies. Hypotendencies, you can use glandulars. Hypertendencies, I generally don't touch the tissue, like hyperthyroidism. I generally don't give anybody with hyperthyroid anything for the thyroid. The thyroid is already kicking on down the line. Hyper cases are so much easier to find a remedy for than hypo. Because hyper is generally a simple detoxification, get that lymph moving out of the head, get out of the adrenals. But hypo means, you know what, I just, what's my job? You wanted cortisol, what? Cortisol, oh, you wanted some, you know, that's much more difficult than, yeah, I'm really working, I'm really going, you know, settle down. Oh, okay. So a lot of difference between those two issues. Hit the raw, hit the fruits. You can use brain and nerve just to strengthen the nervous system. If there's a neurospasticity to this as well, being that it affects the medulla or the part of the adrenal glands that produces neurotransmitters. The medulla is the inner core of everything, and the cortex is the outer core of everything. So each area of a gland produces different substances depending whether it's the inner core of the medulla or the cortex, like the adrenals. So if you need more help with that, detoxify, but you're going to use your kidneys. I'd use 2 kidney herbs. I would use 2 lymphatic herbs. I'd get after those bowels. I'd use upper circulation if you want. But when you start moving your lymph system, it'll eventually start moving head to toe. If you're more in a hypo state, then by all means get on the endocrine gland formula, get on the adrenal formula, or use the glandulars for these things. And it'll strengthen these tissues up and pull you out of a hypo state. Hyper, just detoxify. Get deeper into the body. If you're not digging deep enough, you're not probably doing all fruit. And if you are, it just takes a while. You can do some fasting there. Now, someone asked me about our 12-week program. You know, I set that up so if you called in from or went to a health food store or a chiropractor, let's say, that's busy in his office, he could say, here, do this 12-week program. And then he could do his thing, because most chiropractors really line it up like a medical doctor. They line up their rooms and it's boom, 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 boom. I have to sit and work with my clients a lot more than most practitioners do, so appointments with me are much longer. You'll spend about 7 to 15 minutes with a medical practitioner at about $80 to $150. Me, you spend 2 hours for $100 an hour. And the thing with us, though, you can get remedy. Now, 12-week programs, they're just a program I set up for 12 weeks. We've done a little more aggressive work with those 12-week programs. For someone that really wants to dig in, it's a good way to go. If you're really serious in your problems, then you might want to have us work you a program or use an appointment or something like that. But for the less serious people, yeah, this is why I do these videos, to educate you, to help yourselves, because that's the goal, is to change the consciousness on this planet. Now, someone asked about aloe vera for burns, or was talking about it, and it was like, yeah, Angel B. Yeah, good job with the aloe vera. I love aloe. It's good for you in every way, shape, or form. A wonder plant. I love it. I could tell you story after story. There's a great Amish healer in Pennsylvania. He does burdock leaves. I've seen some stuff that he's done that just really cool tissue regeneration with the burdock leaves. He's made a burn salve. I don't see the burdock leaves in the burn salve, but certainly aloe and burdock leaves, very powerful. Raw foods, very powerful. The beauty of plants, of taking pain out of the tissues and accelerate the healing of cells. I love that. I mean, it's just so cool when you're all waking up to the God force within yourselves. I do love that. Thank you for all your comments. I do. And you too, Water Full of Love. You too, my friend. All of you guys are great. This is a question. I have a question about the ligament damage. Or torn meniscus and ligament damage in this. I'm a 24-year-old gymnast. He hurt, or she, I can't tell. It's a guy. Tore this pretty bad. And can a knee heal without surgeries? Well, absolutely. Matter of fact, this is when you want to look at the parathyroid gland. And you want to make sure your body's utilizing calcium. And this is where a glandular can come in here. There's one that Standard Process puts out, and it's called Cal, CALMA+. Now, it does have some calcium magnesium, so it does drive me crazy. These labs do these things, but you got to realize these are intellectual thinkers. But it's this raw parathyroid tissue there. So if you did something like that short term to accelerate your body's absorption and utilization of calcium, that would be cool. I've got a bones formula. I love that. Comfrey knit bone. That's what we call old Comfrey's knit bone. Horsetail, full of silica and calcium. So hit that body full of these dark greens. When you have an injury, hit a lot of alfalfa. Really hit a lot of the greens and the green juices. This will accelerate repair, get that body alkaline, stay off of proteins. This is going to take more calcium out, and you heal less. So what does that tell you? So really hit the raw, hit the fruits, just like you're doing, man, and you'll repair. You can always use salves locally or topically to drive those into that area and accelerate the healing of those tissue. But I tell you, also move your lymph. Because if your lymph is sluggish and all that exercise and all that work, all that acid is going to weaken that connective tissue, weaken those tendons, weaken those muscles. And then you're going to have problems like this from here on. So you want to move that lymph and strengthen those tissues. This is all about acidosis, the trauma. Acidosis, you're putting a lot of trauma to the body doing these kind of sports, which is okay as long as you're moving that lymph, because that lymph is responsible for removing the byproducts of the tear and the damage. The blood, you're packing that full, so good work. And yes, any sports injury needs to be dealt with like that. Arnica, all the good sports stuff like that's good stuff. Thanks for the comment there, Andre. Can't eat completely organic. It says, if one can't eat completely organic, would you still encourage an exclusively diet of fruit anyway? You know what? Absolutely. I'm sorry, but this isn't a perfect world in that way. Man just has not thought enough about his food sources, so if you live by health food stores that like Whole Foods or something, and you've got good organic foods, okay. If not, you can order them like from Diamond Organics in California. If not, these are expensive things. If you don't, you're tight with your money. I've seen organic grapes in Walmart. So, you just look around, you get what you can, wash everything with a veggie wash or hydrogen peroxide and lemons and stuff. Really clean the pesticides off, and it's the best you can do. If you get some pesticide residue in the body, a little bit, and you're eating all this good nutrition, so what? Because that's not that's the least problem when you're dealing with cancer and tumors. A little bit of pesticide in the body with all these antioxidants and all the flavonoids and everything. But if you can be as pure as you can, but don't let that stop you. We've had thousands of people that have overcome their problems through these health programs, whatever, from cancers to everything. Well, what the medical doctors like to call these things, but have gotten their health restored through grocery store produce. So don't let that stop you. Of course, if you can get the best, get the best. Now, David Wolf, you mean Mr. Avocado? I tell you, I had to think that was a funny, what was that, reality TV, that show he was on. I watched that. It was funny. We all know David Wolf well, of course. Lack of understanding about fruits. It's a lack of understanding. And now, of course, he's pushing a lot of the isolates. But David Wolf wasn't a practitioner, so he didn't understand these things. There's a cycle we go through. And I saw that with, Harvey Diamond. I saw the same thing. Some of these people enter the raw food consciousness. They come in, they say, hi, I feel better, and then they pull out. And these guys, David Wolf didn't, but I thought this other guy did, because you have to live that. You're not going to demineralize yourself eating fruits. I would have to say all the primate families would have that problem. But you demineralize yourself in an acid environment. I will tell you that. You start leaching calcium out of the body. Fruits have full of minerals, more salts than minerals, but we're not designed to eat heavy minerals. Matter of fact, you can't absorb the inorganic minerals. So this is really more about salts than it is minerals, isn't it? So, a lot of these people have these ideas, but they come from ridiculous things. But it's a cycle we go through. Like Harvey Diamond now is pushing digestive enzymes. Eat raw, and he wrote Fit for Life. So eat raw 2 weeks a year, and then the rest of the year when you're eating your cooked dead foods, take digestive enzymes. I heard him lecture once, and that's what he said, and it's like, excuse me? That's the kind of thing that happens to some people. They lose, or did they ever have? I've seen him on videos before, and it looked like he had caught it, but obviously he couldn't keep it. So I never can pronounce your name, and I want to learn how to do that. K-A-L, or is that I-K-E-K-U-U? I love that. I love you, honey. Thank you for all that and all your things, sweetheart. I do have books on the market. I think I've showed you this before, but someone asked me about books. This is my book on the market. I have a whole series coming out called the Illusion Called Diseases, but I have to tell you, I'm so busy that sitting down and writing is not what I really feel like doing. I'm an outdoor guy. I love outdoors. I like to work outdoors. I got gardens, and sitting down and writing a book, it's a lot of work because it's back and forth, and I'm a guy that likes to say a whole bunch of things in 1 or 2 sentences. Well, the publisher, I'll put it the editor, she didn't like me. She says, you got to expand on things. So I'm trying to do that. I like to cut to the chase. This is the bottom line. That's it. But then a lot of people have to have all the frills around it, so okay. So it's harder. It's easier for me to talk to you and do videos than it is to write these friggin' books. I started one on the Great Lymphatic System, which was going to be the first series in the Illusion Called Diseases. And I've got probably most of it written, but it's like now we got to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Most of the stuff we've written have been journals for physicians and manuals and protocols here in the company. What tea are you talking about? I'm talking about what I call the Heal All Tea, and I think I've talked about that before. The Heal All Tea is a tea I made for women that have had atypical cells after Pap smears. They realized they had vaginal walled cells that were moving toward cancer. And so I made this as a douching tea. Incredible tea for converting cells back into a state of health again. So, but you can use that tea for literally anything. That's why I call it kind of a Heal All Tea there. Now, yeah, here's part of that. I hope you guys worked that out now. Loves cartoons and the water full of love. You guys good? Everybody good there? We respect everybody, don't we? The water full of love. We do. We don't care. You got to feel the way you feel. I feel the way I feel. But the fact that we're all brethren on this and we're all working together is cool. If someone sees something, okay, good. You know, I'll seek to always understand where you are. Even if I can't get there or I don't want to go there. Doesn't matter. Nerve pain in arms. I thought that was a pretty good one. You have already helped me with my mom. All right, she had melanoma. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. This is about my friend Mike, who was 54 and has nerve pain in his arms because he is a thalidomide baby, and his arms did not develop properly. Only his arms were affected. His mom was a nurse in the U.S. military and gave her son a derivative of this, which wasn't as strong as what they used in countries like England. Mike's arms are shorter than normal and bent. His fingers did not develop properly. He's been told his veins and arteries are backwards. You mean, and you're clarifying here size-wise, right? Okay. So Mike has circulation issues in his arms where he sometimes goes numb. I doubt if he's going numb from poor circulation. Maybe I'm going to say more nerve impulses probably than circulation, but you know, it could be. He's right when he describes nerve pain because that's where you feel the pain is the nervous system. You don't feel the pain anywhere else; it's in the nervous system. He takes Tylenol for all the time, etc., etc. I've noticed like Mike's arms tend to start hurting after he eats. Well, that's an interesting observation that you made there, my friend. His arms start hurting after he eats. I imagine the blood is rushing to the stomach to help digestion. Yeah, maybe. Maybe, but I can tell you there's a link to the colon. Remember in the embryo, when you open up as a cell, you get that embryonic trunk like a tadpole. That's your gut tissue, and that's connected to your arms and everything else. Your heart, all your tissues come out of gut tissue, including your arms. So I have to tell you that there's a symbiotic relationship between the colon and his arms. So he really needs to go out aggressively into this after his health. Because remember, your body can readjust itself. Believe it or not, your tissues can grow. I have a ton of people that are short that after we started working on their pituitary, they started growing again. This is common, and I would really go after the health of the body. That's the only way you can remedy these type of genetics and damage done by these neurotoxins and drugs. These neurotoxins suppress the central nervous system, suppress pituitaries. Detox these things out of you. These type of things can be in you the rest of your life. So detoxify these out, get the colon cleaned up, get up with some upper circulation into the brain and nerve, and then hit into the colon with the stomach and bowels, hit the kidneys, hit the lymph system, and then as you clean the body out, when you move down the line, think about the ultimate immune. And the ultimate immune has velvet antler and it has ginseng. Power pack, cellular proliferators, power pack to strengthen the body's cells and for growth. And so I use these in spinal cord injuries and things, and that's what I'm saying. We've got a lot of great tools in nature, and you guys are going to discover more tools than I ever have, probably. So, yes, whatever you can accomplish, whatever this man can accomplish, go for it. Because there's no other remedy for him, obviously, because no one's into regeneration of tissue. And this includes genetics and damage by chemicals and everything else. So I would love to see what you can do with this case, my friend. I'd like to see what this case can do for himself. 100% raw, nothing cooked. Nothing, no proteins. 100% raw is required in these type of cases. Let me see. Finally, there is anything you would recommend to help counteract the effect of taking Tylenol? Yeah, work on your liver. You know, take the liver formula for a while and help protect the liver from all so much Tylenol. But really get this body alkaline, really get the colon fixed up, and that related spasticity will go away. And so really work on that GI tract. And of course, here's the autonomic nervous system tied right into the stomach. So as you clean that up, all this inflammation, the relationship between the sympathetic and parasympathetic, all this will find its way of health and healing. And it'd be neat to see what he can do. Take a year minimal, I think, to see the beginnings of regeneration. But where are you going to go? Oh man, my time's up already. Yeah, you must be your joy. I have to tell you that. You know. Oh, I love this one. Thank you. One once. That's pretty good. You were a client of mine a long time ago. I love you too, dear. I do. I love all my clients, despite what some of them might think. We get a lot of clients that are really ratted out, man. They're so emotionally ratted out, it's hard on them out there. You got to try to find balance while we help you through these hard times, especially for those of you that are very emotionally ratted out. Hang on. Grab your strength, because the emotions are going to fly, and it's going to rip your emotions away from you. So you'll be crying 1 minute and laughing the next. Okay. Okay, I had a quad that had a head-on car crash. She killed the other guy in the car, and I mean, her emotion. When I detoxified her, one week she'd be yelling and screaming, the next week cussing me out, the next week laughing at me, and the next week full of joy. And that was a tough case for her. Her caregiver just wanted to kill me. I said, this is her. This is this consciousness, this fear, and all this locked in cells. And a big story behind that. But she was a C3, C4 quad. She had no movement. She made me a nice stained glass little thing with her mouth. She could only move her wheelchair with her mouth. She had no feeling anywhere. They called her the Velcro Queen because she always had so much spasticity she'd throw herself out of the wheelchair. I reconnected her in 11 months, head to toe. You could touch anywhere. She could give you leg lifts. She's on our video, although we went and filmed her cold, but she could raise her hand, and in therapy we could get her go to her hand, lift her legs. We had her connected. Incredible stuff. And that's the body. I mean, that's the coolness of this. Can anyone help out there? Like, I don't know about these chronological lists of videos. I don't know how YouTube works that way. Now here's one. Oh, I know I'm running late. They'll be coming and get me in a minute. Now here's one. Oh, I know I'm running late. They'll be coming and get me in a minute. I just turned 20 years old, and for the past 2 years have been having issues with my skin and face. It's weird because my skin on my body is fine, but break out on my face. All right, you're going to find transverse colon problems. You know it's the lymph. Your skin is your third kidney. This is your lymph system. You really want to get those other 2 kidneys of yours in shape, get your adrenal glands up, work on the GI tract. I can tell you there's a connection between this and the GI tract, remember, especially the transverse colon, but you can't just fix up one part of the bowel. You want to fix up the whole GI tract, and this will help clean all this out. You might get a little worse before you get better, but you just keep going through that. You just keep going through that, those symptoms, and work yourself all that. And all this will clear up on your forehead and everywhere. I would say that's essential, or you'll be popping basils or squamous in the future here, and you want to get away from that. She's using coconut oil. Don't try to treat it too heavy because you'll clog up your subcutaneous, the levels under the skin, under the epidermis. You'll start clogging those up more because that's what's going on already. Is you're not getting into those subcutaneous areas, or not draining through your lymph nodes properly, but it's going to your other two kidneys. So you have to work that out of you. Sorry for going so fast here. Also, you get a bit depressed. Well, up here's the parathyroid gland, and you're not utilizing calcium well. So you get depressed from that a little bit. So you're going to start seeing things shut down as you get older, and you're only 20. So you really want to move that lymph. And at 20, you know you've got genetically weak kidneys, and you know you have weak adrenal glands. That's almost standard issue when every soul takes a body now. Here you go. Here's your weak kidneys and adrenals. Here's your weak kidney and adrenals. It just depends how bad. And so you really want to go after this. Okay, done? All right. Thanks, guys. I'll be back with you again, and thank you very much for watching the videos, and I'll continue this another time. Thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye. Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning, dear ones. It's a pleasure to be with you again. I'm so far behind making these videos. I've got a load of questions, and I forgot another stack at home. But I've been real busy this weekend, couldn't get to it. So forgive me, but I'm going to try to get right to it. But I will say something on the other batch there. There was something, someone made a comment what Gabriel Cousins said about if you eat a fruit diet, the children will mutate, become mutants, something like that. I don't know what happened to some of these practitioners. Maybe they never did learn much. Maybe they, smoking something in the back room more than they should. I don't know. Brain cells fried. I don't know. I don't know where people get off saying ridiculous things like this. I have to say that the most misunderstood issue with detoxification and these high fruit diets and these high raw food diets is that we are mutants. We have become mutants in the human form, in a sense, genetically speaking. And it is going to re-change our physical body. Sometimes it takes it down pretty bad, and these kids are very seriously weak genetically at the cellular level, and there is a process to getting well. I've been 40 years in this field and well known around the world for what we do, and someone made a comment about only 30% of the people can handle raw food diets. Bull crap. Maybe up here, maybe in consciousness, okay, but bottom line is, if you want to get well, you can't do it on cooked foods and dead animals. And I remember one of you guys, and I think this was Jerkson, Jay, I'll find it somewhere here, my friend. You're a good dude. I really appreciate your comments and stuff, and I really like you. Someday I hope I get to meet you. But someone made a comment that, back then maybe they ate flies on the fruit, which gave them the protein. I'd like to see someone eat a piece of fruit with flies on it and actually eat it and take a bite of it before flies will fly off. It'll be kind of like the Karate Kid, I mean, come on. I mean, there is some mutant thinking out there when it comes to health. I don't know what the problem is. There's obvious problems in our food sources. 1, very lack of true, really good organic foods. 2, hybrid foods. 3, picked unripe. Common issue that we face. The ripening stage, the nutritional stages are really in the end stages as well. That's the alkalizing sweet stages. Someone says something wrong with fruit, then you've got something wrong in your head. I don't care who you are. Nothing wrong with fruit. We are a frugivorous species. You can't prove that we're omnivores. You can't prove that we're herbivores. You can't prove in any way we're any of these other things. Well, the world lacks good detoxifying people, and all of you guys on this YouTube, I'm proud of you. The things I'm reading here, you guys are kick butters. I love to see you guys battering this around. but I want you to use your common sense, and some of this you got to laugh at, man. So, you guys, I'm real proud of you. All of you, I love you well, and as a team, we're going to plow this field down and this consciousness down here that's manifest around idiocy and just stupidity. It's just unbelievable. If one wants to live as a fruitarian or a raw foodist, I don't care. I don't advocate totally living a life at those levels unless you got a lot of self-control, perhaps you're by yourself, things like that, because there's just so many factors come into play here. But if you want to detoxify, if you want to overcome something, now how is this? Here's this lady with the MS. She's been all raw, 7 months, mostly fruit. Seems like she's walking now, isn't she? What happened to that, Gabriel Cousins? One of the 30%? I mean, this is the sort of thing that I find really interesting out there. Unless you can take these kind of people, unless you can take people up out of wheelchairs as we have, unless you can do things like this, and I think your comments are worthless. Because you really, it is all clinical, and what you see happening, this is what I see happening. I'm going to put so many clients on this YouTube, if they don't mind, that I'm going to show you some neat stuff, and she's just one of many neat things. So, and someone asked me about your heels that have fallen and stuff, your whatever you call it. I'm in a hurry to get all this done, so if I'm not thinking clearly, I just got so much to cover with you guys. I apologize, but your body, I feel, can regenerate itself with any type of mutation or any type of deterioration. I think you're talking time. When you're talking regeneration of skeletal tissue, you're talking regeneration of muscle and everything, X amount of time. You've seen neurologically what's going on here in 7 months. I've had brain lesions disappear within 6 to 7 months. More advanced MS clients with a lot of brain lesions and things like this. But I've also seen it take a whole year. And I have a Lou Gehrig's case that's a sweet osteopath, and he's been 3 years and I can't get him. So, you know what? I don't know. It's all tied into karma. It's all tied into everything else, but I want you to know this is a very simple understanding and approach to health and revitalization. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. I think you will find, as I have, that, and someone made this comment, and I think it was you, Jay Ferguson, about the more books you read. I mean, books are ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous that we as a race have to write volumes, and everybody has all these stupid and ridiculous opinions, like drinking half your body's weight in water. You don't see any of these kind of idiocy type thinkings in nature. It just doesn't happen. When man does it, he bloats up, he overhydrates the wrong way. I mean, this is just, there's just some ridiculous thinking out there. And maybe these are, some type of omnivorish wannabes or carnivorish wannabes. If you want to be a carnivore, be a carnivore. But don't pull that on everyone else. You be what you want to be and let everybody be what they want to be. And listen, water full of love. Listen, bro, yeah, it was tough with your dad. I can just tell you that, this is a tough world. What we have a false sense of security, Americans do. And I think a lot of places do around the world, a very false sense of security. There's no security on this planet. You come down here and it's survival of the fittest. For someone to be kicked out as a child out of a house because too many kids to feed, there's not enough education. Quit having kids. I mean, we're having kids like it was nothing. Well, it is something. This world right now is so overpopulated that, look at the World Health Organization. Jesse Ventura, he hit it right on the head, and a lot of us have already known this, that the World Health Organization would like to reduce the population 90%. 90% reducing the population so the wealthy can enjoy the fine things on the planet. Now, how do you reduce a population 90% if you don't mean killing or fixing it so women can't have children? Is this why the Philippine Supreme Court sued the World Health, yeah, something like that. I heard, right? Sterilizing 3 million Filipino women. I just heard something like that. Who knows? I can just say that there's bad things going, and it's survival of the fittest on this planet. And you guys are learning the rules of the road. That's what I love about you. You're learning the rules of the road, and boy, I got to get moving on some of these cases. So I apologize again. I hate to keep doing that, but there's so much to talk to you about, and I want you to be on guard for these stupid ideas. Use your common sense. Use simplicity. Use nature as your barometer, because that is the largest laboratory we have. If someone says, well, in the laboratory or double-blind studies, that's intellectualism, that's stupidity. They're the biggest lab we have, exists right now, and you're either standing on it, sitting on it, or laying on it. And that is this rock spinning through space, and the whole universe itself, and you. You're the biggest laboratory there are. Experiment with these different foods. Experiment with these levels on yourself. Yes, some of you have blood sugar problems and you have to work through things. And so you play with the vegetables, you play with the fruits. But if anybody suggests that you can get well on cooked foods and dead animal meat, I'm sorry. It just doesn't happen. If you want to live on that after you detoxify, fine. But how is it that to get well, to overcome MS or cancer or Lou Gehrig's or any of these, take in mind that when I say these names, I don't mean to them as diseases, but as these symptoms, how is it that you can get rid of them doing these kind of foods, but then maybe we shouldn't eat that way? I don't know. You know, there's just not a lot of common sense out there, and it's unfortunate, really. But you guys are getting it, and I love you guys. I'm proud of you. If we only had 1,700 subscribers or two, you know what? I would rather have a few of you guys that are the best of the best, because really you're going to be the healers of the world, and this is really the key. And you will break through this stupidity and these statements these physicians make. No matter how famous a person is, see through them. Just realize that. Some people can get famous and not know their you-know-what from a hole in the ground. I can name a few names. Shall not do that. All right. Okay. Now here's one. Oh, yeah. Someone asked me, any advice for someone who went through the whole chemo routine and wants to get cleaned out? Let's see. When the cancer returns, it comes back with a vengeance. You're right on here. You're right on, my friend. I call it the residual kick. There's always a residual kick with chemo and radiation. I don't know what people think. They're going up and going to a candy machine. I mean, this stuff is acid. You know, that's the problem with education. I blame our professors for not continuing to try to make it simple and use analogies that help drive this home. So we going to I'm back again. We were right. We had a no-show this morning. It's common around here. I don't know. People don't love me no more. I tell you what, it's so good because I have so many questions, and then you guys sent me a lot of questions over the weekend, and I have a bunch of questions at home. So I'm going to be shooting these videos all day if I can, as much as I can, and get caught up here with you. So you've got some videos coming to you. So appreciate that. I'm going to have to get rid of this chart here in a minute. So let's go on down this line, because we got a long line to go down here, and I just want to keep adding to this video here. Brandon Cintron, 7-year-old cousin. Yeah, go after these guys. You're really learning a lot, man. You just really go after this. Dano, kombucha. You can take mushrooms all you want. That reminds me of the good old days. Someone said water pipe what? The water pipe's in your house. Everybody knows what water pipes are. Let me see here. Gravity colonics. Thank you, sweetheart. You're a loving soul. You're a good soul there. And here's your chart.
Okay.
Sweet pea and the doves. That's cool. Where'd you come up with that one? That's pretty cool, man. You're from the Netherlands. You know, again, those people that have real hardships, there might be some herbs back there. You'll have to ask, but we're having a lot of replies, so it's hard. Here's your chart here. Thank you. You shut the door for me.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's see when you get treatment. I wish you could meet you. You'll meet me one of these days, sweetheart. Oh, this is the one, yeah. This is a sad case, you know, where her mother doesn't want her brother doesn't want her. And I think I told you on the last video, I'll be your brother, sweetheart. Let me tell you. You know, we're here to help you through these things. You'll be okay here. You know, you got to get your adrenals up. Yeah, get off that bread and potatoes. Got to get rid of those. You know, not doing you any good there. Get on a lot of fruit if you can. If you can't afford herbs, you eat your health. And you can use teas. You know, the cheap way to use herbs is teas. And you could use teas like the Hill All Tea or whatever herbs you find. Get your herb book around there. See what's available in the Netherlands and what you can have. Always thought I'd like to move to Aruba or something, because everybody wants to move to you-know-where. Okay, let me see what else here. Yeah, okay. Now, someone asked me, oh, this is Lucy. You asked me about varicose veins. Yes, absolutely. You want to get rid of varicose veins. You don't want the medical doctors playing with your veins, because there's a lot of blood clots happening with that sort of thing, so you don't want that. You know, strengthen your connective tissue, sweetheart, and that's a parathyroid issue. Also, foods high in flavonoids, which is your vitamin C complexes, not your ascorbic acid, your flavonoids, like your bioflavonoids. So fruits are, of course, where you find them. A lot of grapes, great with bioflavonoids. The darker the better, really strengthen the body. You probably do some kelp supplements. Kelp supplements are going to give you the iodine and the calcium, so good kelp. Remember, when you get kelp, no iodine added. And yes, we should have a responsible arsenic removal of kelp. Anyway, really hit on that, and you make sure you get rid of your varicose veins. I've never failed to get rid of them with anybody. So you want to make sure, sweetheart, that they go away either on you or your friend or whoever. Parathyroid, get a glandular, use Cal, C-A-L-M-A plus, maybe 1 twice a day would be all right. But, you know, take a look at her. Maybe if this is you, or see if there's a pituitary relationship. Maybe there's an ovarian problem. Maybe too much estrogen or something, that would suspect the pituitary. Skin pigmentation would suspect pituitary. Shortness or too high pituitary. Then you might address the pituitary gland as well. And detox the body. You know, go back to what you're learning here. Go back to moving the lymph. Go back to working with the kidneys and adrenals. Go back and cleaning up the colon. You know, health is cleaning up the kidneys, getting them to filter. Well, getting the kidneys to filter is getting the adrenal glands back online. So always work on your endocrine glands. You can't go wrong by working on the Fab Four. Take herbs for the kidneys, herbs for the endocrine gland, herbs for the GI tract, and move those lymphs. If you focus on those 4 things aggressively, and your diet is aggressive with a high fruit, which is aggressive lymph work, you're going to be very successful. I've never seen anybody not be. Yeah, we have tough cases. I just got off the phone with a tough lady dealing with a lot of extreme nerve weakness. Remember, the problem with eating meat is epinephrine and norepinephrine. If you consume these in foods, they're going to weaken your adrenal glands. That's the other thing people don't realize. By eating dead animal tissue, you're going to eat their hormones and steroids, which then weakens our production of them. That's the other negative kick about eating meat, is getting that. You can't get these out of the meat, because you ever visit a slaughterhouse, it's obvious. I mean, I've been to many of them, and it's obvious. And it's just, it's horrible. It's horrible. But, you know, that's the way, it's where this planet is right now. So you have to spend some time building up these glands. And we only have a few tools, and you guys are learning about the highest tools that we can use for a curative stance. A stance where you're going to have a remedy at the end of the road. Don't know how long your road is going to be, but you got a good remedy at the end of that road. And you just keep working it and working it until you make that remedy happen. Because if you notice, like varicose veins, if you don't get rid of them, you're not utilizing calcium properly. You're not getting into those tissues, and you just keep doing it until you do. You know, so you'll be fine. You'll get rid of those, sweetheart. These are about nodules or polyps on the vocal cords. Yeah, what could that be? Consider a nodule or a polyp a tumor, or a cyst, or a pimple. You get all variations of the same thing. 75% lymph, 25% blood. So that's your interstitial tissues, meaning you're not moving your lymph whatsoever. And to tell you the truth, it's probably in your esophageal wall, in your gut wall. Means that you're probably malabsorbed on top of this as well. You could fight a little acid reflux, I don't know in this case, but I will say that you got to really move your lymph. This is real important because you don't want to end up with vocal cord cancer or esophageal cancer. And if that just sits there, you know, you'll break down these tissues. So you just go in there and you move that lymph. Just as we're discussing, this is all about lymph work, really. If you said, what's the bottom line here to health, that's moving an acid lymph. A system that's miles long, that is a very difficult fluid that in its best days, in its worst days, it's become very anionic or very dehydrated, coagulated, and tough to do. But you can do it. And that's what you want to get on to. If you have to, get up there on some grape fasts or water fasting. You'll probably hawk some stuff up too. So that would be good. You could use the lung formula, or you also could breathe in that we have a 3-lung tea. I call it 3-lung tea, but it's a tea that helps. It's mullein, pleurisy root, and what else did I put in there? Gosh, went right out. But breathe it in, inhale it. It's an expectorant, anti-inflammatory. Help to pull those out a little bit there, but really your diet is really key here. Yeah, very inflamed, painful. This is your lymph system, and it'll be chewing up on your vocal cords there, so get up on that and get that going, honey. Sing these on the way, singing voice. You can sort of, and a little depression. You know, everything's in here. Thyroid, parathyroid gland. Yeah. So you really got to move your lymph, honey, whoever you are. This is very important. On a high fruit diet, good deal, good deal. Well, we all got attached to cooked foods. Thank you all for, yeah. Thank you, my friend, and keep going. Get your lymph moving at all costs. Get that, you know, you just have to get up there and get this done. Angel Light, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you all for your stuff here, Truth Seeker. I love your names. I love the spiritual side. I just love you all. Water full of love. I felt your energy, the comment you made. I feel you, bro. Listen, you're coming along. I love you all. Keep coming. All right? Just keep working yourselves through these traps of these worlds. I have had MS. Prescribed a raw food diet, so I shot it 4 months. Those symptoms disappeared except for one. I still have multiple chemical sensitivities. Dig deeper. That's all I can tell you. Dig deeper. Stay high up on fruit. You saw the video on this lady with the MS. Dig deeper. Get high on fruit. Really dig into your body. Move those lymphs. If you need to have some buffering of chemicals coming out of the body, then do your green juices, particularly parsley and cilantro and dandelion. I know one of you asked me, I think it was Jurgensen asked me about the other natural purslane and lamb's quarter. I never use lamb's quarters much. You know, I don't know. I've heard a lot about purslane. Also, you asked me about plantain. I love plantain. I mean, if you get bit by a spider, by a snake, I tell you, while they're rushing you to the hospital, you suck down plantain, you'll be good by the time you get there. Always good on your lymphatic herbs. Plantain is a great lymphatic herb. It's for all kinds of poisons. I just love plantain, and it's in the yard everywhere. Yeah, I mean, you asked about this on celiac disease, and you were asking about why gluten destroys some people's intestinal villi and yet others. I think it's a combination, to be honest with you. Gluten is really, it's a glue. And some people, depending on what they eat, are able to move that out and it doesn't stick on the bowel wall, but your proteins are really bad. Your meat proteins are really bad on the intestinal villi. So really, you got to get on that raw. Get up on that raw, get up on that fruit, and clean that out, and start rebuilding the bowel and stuff. The bowel will rebuild itself. You just have to keep after that and go after that. It's the same reason you see in some people's genetics are strong and others are weaker. So everybody has unique tissues that are weaker over others. But gluten is a glue on everybody. It's possible that some people break it down better, but those that don't, of course, is going to have more pancreatic problems, and maybe you have some pancreatic problems. But gluten is a glue to most people anyway. Its proteins are just as bad on the villi, even worse, because you have putrefaction going on there. At least with the gluten, you have fermentation. Thanks for all your comments here. Here's someone that said something about soy milk. I feel better drinking soy milk. You know what? I have to tell you that I have never ever knew anything good about soy products. And yeah, thanks for the comment about the old farm boy. I love you too, sweetheart. I was raised around farms, but no one, back then, nobody really had anything good to say about soy. That's why I think Monsanto picked on a crap bean, even though the Chinese revered it. I don't see what to revere about soy. I got this lady's book. I can't remember what her name was, but she wrote a big book on the soy myth or something. She's got. I'm aligned with her a lot on this. There's nothing good about soy products whatsoever. High estrogenic food, high phytic acid. Actually, I don't think any of the milks are good for you. The nut milks or anything else, too concentrated. They're too concentrated in their raw form, let alone to make them up into a milk and stuff. Why do we seek nutrition at that level? But at soy milk, I wouldn't call it nutritious at all. So try to get off of that as you can, It's not as mucus forming, this is true. Yeah, someone asked me, I haven't come to this group of questions yet, but they're asking about, people were broken down on fruits and vegetables, but they rebuilt themselves on eggs and raw milk cheeses. They might have looked better. And there's times where I've used raw eggs on people, raw non-fertile eggs. When I get too emaciated of a person, if you're on raw foods and you get emaciated, you've got serious malabsorption problems because there is no more nutrition. There's no more nutrition in eggs and raw milk cheeses than there is in fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables is where and fruits and berries way over vegetables. That's where the most of the nutrition in life is. Not in your fermented cheeses and your eggs. Now, I do like a lot of eggs, a lot of aminos and stuff, raw, not cooked. So you'd want to beat a raw. When I get some really emaciated people or somebody that really wants to work out hard, I'll do a raw egg and some almond milk. Okay, but for the average person, really concentrated, if you're trying to detoxify, I wouldn't. But again, we have some really, like I have this one Lou Gehrig's case, very advanced. He's an osteopath. There's a time he was going down so fast, I did have to build him back up a little bit with raw egg and almond milk and stuff, and the God's blend, and then I put him right back on fruit again. And I went right after that. So sometimes you're playing this in some of your advanced cases. That's why I've always said detoxification is an art. You know when to hold them and you have to know when to fold them. You have to kind of go like this and work them through these different mazes because this is serious business. I try to make it simple and I try to make it fun, but this is very serious business for people that can't walk anymore, people that can't breathe anymore, people that can't eat anymore with the tubes. We have every level. So it is very serious business, and I take this very seriously. But we can have fun while we do it, because you have to. Because it's just a body anyway, But when you wake up and you realize if you don't do something, you're going to lose it, then you got to get strict up, I'm not promoting fanaticism. But if you want to be, I don't care. I did and loved it. I admire those that tear into this. Like the life regenerator, Dan the man, tear into it, bro. You need to fix some things. See, we all have our issues, including Dan the man. But he's tearing into it. I'm proud of him. And I'm proud of all of you the same way. All of you are tearing into it. I'm really proud of all of you. You know, you're all great. No one's greater than another. So you're really doing good. And you're all doing good. And if you don't eat perfectly, don't beat yourself up. I used to beat myself up a lot, and then I realized, well, you know, I'm just having a human experience. So I don't know about this. This is a question about a tattoo removal. I don't know. I don't know about high-end detoxification on moving out these inks and tissue. I don't know. Other than surgery, I really don't know. And here's a real long one here. I recently sent you a message about certain health problems I have been facing: bone, skin eruptions, and digestion. I realized that I forgot. Let's see, what did you forget? Oh, you have weak blood. Some Chinese herbalist said that you have raw food. You see, I did go to a Chinese herbalist once and did a pulse analysis and stated I had weak blood, heavy metals, and candida. Excuse me. Let me see. Could I say that about 99% of everybody? Excuse me. Please, weak blood? What the heck is weak blood? Clean your body out. If you got candida, you know, take a parasitic, herbal parasitic. Don't do the silvers and all that crap. Do a herbal parasitic. There's plenty of great antifungal herbs in nature. Please. Heavy metals, you got to move your lymph. You can clean blood up easy. Now go on green juices, clean up blood, get in the liver, clean your spleen. So you can use a liver formula. You can use a spleen formula. At the same time, you're always going to go kidneys, adrenals, lymphatic, stomach, and bowel. But on the side, you go into the liver, clean the liver up. You go in the spleen, you clean the spleen up. Now that's the blood. Okay, you'll do fine. But want to move your lymph, because even your blood stores heavy metals into the blood. I mean, into the lymph. Your lymph, you think you got heavy metals in the blood, where do you see your lymph? So this is, you got to move your lymph. You got floaters in your eyes. That's your lymph system. Unless you're getting some MACD or something breaking down there, that's your lymph system. Your eyesights are bad, a lot of redness in veins. That means you're full of acidosis. If your sclera, the white portion, is real red, or you see all your veins, that means your whole body's extremely acidic. You really see that after you tie one on with too many Long Islands or something, or whatever. I mean, it's because it's acidosis, and it's systemic, and it shows up in your eyes. That's sclerology. So really, you're just showing you're highly acidic. You're not moving your lips. Well, are you all surprised? No. And a great patch in my white, yeah, move your lymph. That's all I can say. You're not moving your lymph. Notice my floaters were real bad. And also, use the eye wash for the floaters. Get our eye wash. Get you a little eye cup. They're only a few bucks. Wash out your eyes there. Get up to about 12 drops. And so, I remember the comment. I remember this is a sweet thing. She said, definitely burn the alcohol off. Honey, no guts, no glory, man. Right in there. You know, something, I don't know, biker friend, right there, eye drops right in the eye. I do put it in an eye cup, but I don't burn no alcohol off. You know, right down you go. I have a guy working for me in my gardens, and he stuck a branch right in his eye, so he was complaining, you know, a lot of watering and a lot of itching and pain. And I said, well, try this eye wash. It's going to sting, but go ahead. And I put 12 drops right in there, you know. Next day, he woke up and came to work. He said, my God, what was that? And I said, that's good herbs. He said, I can't believe it. No pain. I can see. He couldn't see before. He said, it's unbelievable. So that's the sort of thing. That's why I love these things. Really dry, scaly skin. Yep, there you go. That's your lymph right there. You got to revitalize your lymph. Chronic colds, nasal problems. You still have your tonsils? I mean, you're clogged up with lymph here. This is lymph. This is mucus. So you got to declog yourself, man. And winter, remember, winter's alkaline. That's when most people get all these cold and flu-like symptoms. Well, no kidding. You can do the same thing in a hospital on normal saline, by the way. Realize what detoxification is and what does detoxification. It's an alkaline experience or a base chemistry experience. And cold air is alkaline. So that's when you start to see all these symptoms come about. Just letting you know you get pretty backed up there lymphatically. You get some smelly balls out of the throat. Those are nasty. Those are the tonsil balls. That's your lymph system. Well, that's how smelly proteins are, and that's what most acids are in the nature of proteins. So yeah, it shows you that your lymph system's backed up, man. That's all it is. Liver's really sensitive. Well, what is the liver made from? That's right, a bunch of cells and two fluids. What's your tonsils made up? A bunch of cells and two fluids. What's all your body made up? A bunch of cells and two fluids. So your lymph isn't moving well, my friend, and not in the liver either. And you want to get that out of there so you don't start breaking down liver tissue. Your liver enzymes will start going up. You have all kinds of problems. You're doing a lot of beet, dandelion, parsley, cilantro. Good deal, good deal, good deal. But remember, you also said you're thin. Well, you're malabsorbed. It just shows you that interstitial lymphatic constipation. I haven't used that in a while, have I? Interstitial lymphatic constipation. You're backed up in the wall of everything. You're backed up in the wall of your liver. You're backed up lymphatically in the wall of your GI tract. Your kidneys and adrenals aren't working for you, man. So you really want to focus on that. Went down to 115 after drugs. Let me see here. Now his weight's 130 at 5'10". Okay, you need to get up, but you know what? Fix your malabsorption. You got to do that first, or you're not. How are you going to put on real muscle? You know, he was on a lot of painkillers, ecstasy, cocaine, marijuana, mushrooms. Well, you know, I mean, that's the typical route that a lot of people go in. You know, I don't say that I'm really for the ecstasy, the heroin, and the cocaine, but. In my day, it was a Timothy Leary day. You know, you did the mushrooms and the LSD. Window pane. Let's see, I use those often without high school. Okay. Just get your health back, man. Just get your health back, Jeremy. You'll be okay. Just get your health back. And getting your health back is eating more fruits and vegetables, eating predominantly a diet of raw fruits and vegetables. Have some cooked foods if you want it. But with you, I'd really dig into my lymph. I'd tear into my lymph system and really start moving, because that's where you're in trouble. And you just have to dig in and clean all that up, man. You could have chemical residue still left in you from these things. The lymph is what holds everything. If you're not moving lymph, you can hold chemicals in you all your life, especially chemo and stuff like this. I've seen people detoxify it years later out of them. Let's see, here's one. I have eczema on my nose, face, scalp, and eyebrows. And I think this is another question. I've addressed this. Again, you have tonsillitis, irregular heartbeat. That's all thyroid here, probably parathyroid, lack of calcium utilization. You're just clogged up lymphatically, my friend, in your head. And the same thing here with this person. Got to really move your lymphs. That's real important that you do that. Kratos. Marshmallows. Question. Yeah. Nothing like marshmallows on an open fire. Those were the days. Oh, well. Let's see, the marshmallow plant is a great plant. I tell you, it's a great anti-inflammatory. It's healing to the mucosa of the body. Great stuff. Marshmallow slippery elm, one of my two favorites for mucosic work, you know, in terms of inflammation. A lot of people are so acidic they can't even drink water. They get so burnt in the esophageal area and in the stomach and the gut. I'm going to see here. Some of this is a good one, and I'm just now finally getting to it. A magical hummingbird. God, what a beautiful name. Whoever that's addressing that, I mean, you guys are talking to yourselves here, I guess, but you're talking about these veggie caps or gel caps, horses' hooves and all the like. Well, you know, some people take gelatin. I don't know. You know what? I mean, if you're not utilizing calcium, fix it. That's your parathyroid again. You guys are learning some real good stuff here, and I'm really proud of you here. Yeah, we don't do the gel caps. I mean, you do the veggie caps, but those are still starch. So you are getting a little starch in your diet with the veggie caps too. But you know what? They're better than the gel caps. They're better than horses' hooves and stuff. So yeah, you know, do the veggie. Make sure everything's veggie caps. We don't do anything. I notice all mine's in glass. You know, I was even saying to Richard Schultz, you were putting all your superfood blend in plastic. Man, I've had mine in glass all the way through. Now his superfood blend is in glass. But check out the difference in the ingredients between the two. I think you'll be interested to see the difference. I never put anything in plastic. Never have. I don't compromise on nothing. Sorry. I'd love to use green bottles. Green bottles are really far better healing than amber, especially when the sunlight comes in, accelerates the healing power, but it costs, I have to buy it by the hundreds of thousands, so maybe in the future. We'll see. So yeah, get rid of that veggie cap stuff if you're taking veggie caps. Let me see, it's full of shame. The natural healing, is it covered by insurances and stuff? Yeah, that's Jeremy again. Yeah, I know, my friend. You know, it's sickening. I have a friend that's a chiropractor, now medical doctor. He says he's on the board of some big insurance company and he's trying to make natural healing covered. Well, you know what? It's part of this this mafia nightmare of the American Medical Association and what it's literally done to us. Not only has it become the top killing machine on the planet, it's ruined insurance. It's just ruined everything, and no one addresses it. I'll tell you, I keep watching Ron Paul. Now, he is getting stronger. He's getting focused. I just hope he comes up and he goes. You know, everybody's looking at Perry, but I mean, Ron Paul, guys, I mean, that guy, you would have a life like nobody's business. Even though he's a medical doctor, we could probably tune his fork pretty good, too. But I don't know how you change such a large problem. You know, it's like the corruption in the IRS. How do you change such a large problem? Well, that's where I believe in the Supreme Being and karma. It's coming. And I want to be there when some butt whooping happens. Nah, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that wouldn't be spiritual thinking, would it? I don't know. I tell you. Oh, yeah, let me see what this is. Drinking that the body can naturally regenerate. Yeah, come on. Okay, removal of some lymph nodes. Just don't want to have lymph nodes removed, guys. I mean, if you remove lymph nodes, the wrong ones, particularly up here, you're in trouble in the brain. And it's hard for it's hard for anything natural to help when you cut part of the sewer system out. You can't cut part of the sewer system out and then bitch about the other side of it that now you can't remove the sewers. This is the biggest problem, one of them that we face in allopathic, is the desire to simply cut out lymph nodes. I've seen some bad suffering. I wish I could show you pictures. I don't know the extent of that, but if I showed you some pictures and you knew some fine individuals that we had to walk through them while they passed because we couldn't help them because of the lymph node removals and the holes in the head and what it did to the brain and the eyes, I can't even tell you in words. I can't even tell you in words what it does to you. It just, I mean, you guys, I got years of seeing suffering souls from what the allopath's done that I don't have words for you. How I can still stay balanced and have a smile on my face, I'm amazed. If I wasn't a God man, I'd be, it's horrible. Yeah, hey. Centron Brandon, you must be a spiritual dude, man. You know, I had a psychic friend that whenever she loses her animals, she said they're always with me. She sees their astral bodies always around the house. Sometimes I can sense that and sometimes I can't for some reason. But remember, all these worlds are just like mirrors of the next to a certain point. So just because you leave one body, you know, it's almost like everything's wrapped around each other. So absolutely, some people see astral bodies or etheric bodies of other people, and some people don't. Some people, we call them ghosts, and there's all kinds of names, but there's all these levels. And there's this same office exists on the astral heaven and in the mental heavens. They're the same place, because this had to be conceived first in the mental worlds before it could be manifested in the physical. So this office is manifested in the heavens at the mental worlds, where creation down below is first conceived. You can visit this office and me at these levels. And when I'm speaking to you, I'm not just speaking to you physically. I'm speaking to you as soul. I'm speaking to you, your mind, and I'm speaking to your emotions, and then I'm addressing your physical, which is the most unaware part of you. I'm actually speaking to your higher selves, not your lower selves. So it's just understanding how this works around. So keep aware sometimes. Use your intuitiveness and your feelings, and the less focused your consciousness is, the more you can see things. You know, thought really focuses you so much. Stop thinking. You're starting to see more things. Start working with aurics and especially subliminal. If you start working with subliminal work, it's like seeing these drawings where you have to look through to see what's in them. You know, start stepping back. It causes you to unfocus, and then you start seeing more things. You know, focused attention limits you as opposed to unfocusing. They teach you to focus. That's the problem. And now we have to teach ourselves to unfocus, someone asked me didn't know about vegetarian dogs. Seen a lot of them. Matter of fact, in the early 70s, I had a high school senior, had like a German Shepherd or something, or a Collie, and he was working to get him vegetarian. A lot of the show dogs are vegetarian show dogs. Not important, but if you're going after tumors or cancer in your dog, you get them raw. Same thing. You go after an omnivore just like you do a frugivore. With grapes, should we also eat the seeds? I don't like to eat seeds of grapes. I juice them. So I juice the seeded ones and eat the seedless ones. That's just me, I never did like seeds. I don't eat watermelon seeds either, but I try. I can't hardly buy seeded watermelons anymore. What happened to that? It's like, man, those are the best flavors. It's like, what are we doing? That's where frustration sets in with me. I don't know what I don't know what Sun Warrior protein is. I don't know what that is. If it's not a plant-based protein, I'm not in favor of it. And you can build up on alfalfa like nobody's business. You want some alfalfa juice and tablets, you can build up real well on that. So I don't know, just so it's a green thing, I'm okay with that. I wasn't able to. Oh, I think we got a hold of you. We got your appointment in there okay there, dude. Yeah, I don't know about pulling sulfur out other than what we do. Sometimes we get into, I've got a GI broom, and what I did is I put the psyllium in there for people, but I put the charcoal, the bentonite, I put astringents. I really made this one pull. And that outside of the GI broom type clays and herbs, it's just a process of creating a cationic environment, an environment of rehydration, detoxification, things like that. Your astringent factors in your fruits, all these things lend itself to cleaning the tissues of the body. And don't know, outside of that, man, that's what makes detoxification. That's why it shouldn't be about allopathy or anything else. We all should be going, okay, how do we accomplish detoxification faster, easier, smoother? I've been always thinking about those things. How can I make it easier on you? How can I get it deeper without you having to get too self-disciplined? And outside of the herbs, I haven't found any little friends that help us. And the glandulars to help perk up the endocrine glands, which they're in a sad shape in people. So you're seeing the problems. Hi, Lion Man. Please explain how more losing electrolytes. Always in the now. I love the way you're purple and then you're yellow in the middle, etheric and then the soul. I love that. Good design there. Could you please explain more about losing electrolytes when the urine is alkaline? Yeah, if you're seeing your base chemistry, your alkaline chemistry coming out your urine, what isn't coming out? Your acids. So your body isn't utilizing like it should. Now, yeah, granted, we're back at the adrenal glands and the utilization, the inability to filter lymph, but also the ability to move lymph. So you'll tend to see your electrolytes go out instead of really holding, maybe. So, you know, you always want to see acidic urine. So you just keep working on it, you know. Sometimes it takes a while. Adrenals, 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 sweetheart. Really, really hit the adrenals. Going after that. Mucus strands. Yeah, you know, I did. I saw that in a lab. I couldn't believe this lab had mucus strands on your analysis. And the first one I've ever seen, I thought, cool. But I don't know how they look at that. Negative or positive, I don't know. But it's a positive thing to see this in your stools. That's like, see teeny dust-like bits. Are they supposed to be bigger? You know what, snowflakes? I mean, it doesn't matter, like dandruff and stuff like that. You just want to see some sediment, some mucus strands. Now you're moving lymph. You don't know which kidney over another one maybe, but at least one kidney's filtering and maybe two. I tell you, your urine should almost all the time show like you're getting chemistry out of it, in my opinion. So I think you're doing, if you're seeing this always in the now, you're in the now. You're getting it. And that's good. You know, it's a long process, really. I mean, there's, I say, you know, there's nothing perfect, but yet everything is perfect. So it's just how you look at things. But we're on a big road. It's a long road back. That's all I can tell you. It's a long road back, guys, and you keep working on it. I'm glad I can get to these videos. I got another big stack at home. I'm going to bring them back this afternoon. I try to shoot as long as I can and get this done. And then I'll go over these tonight. Chris was saying somebody sent me like a 4-pager. If you have that many questions, you better call in. Yeah, you got a load of them here. But I'll try to get to them. I'll try to get to them at the tomorrow or the next day. I'm just not going to have time here to yeah. Okay. So anyway, I'll get to them. I'll have to go over them tonight. Let me see here. This would like to know about an overactive bladder urinary frequency. Yeah, I would use kidney. I use both kidney and bladders, number 1 and number 2. At the same time, I'd use lymphatic 4. I'd also reach into my stomach and bowel, clean up that a little bit, and that's how I would go with this. I'd strengthen my adrenal glands. I'd also make sure that you're utilizing calcium properly. Look at all the little calcium-related issues, from spider veins to varicose veins to brittle fingernails to hemorrhoids to hernias to bruising easy. All these little things like that indicate you're not utilizing calcium. Could in time weaken the sphincter and make you a little loose there with the urine. So yeah, you'd want to keep strengthening that up. I would. And a lot of flavonoids strengthen that, your fruits and berries and melons, and then you can have a salad or two. I don't care. I don't know. I think I'd probably go with the kidney liquids as opposed to the capsules. But you know, you could be I mean, you're really inflamed there, so you could be having some cysts on them, breaking them down. So work on this. It could take you a while, you know, but keep working yourself. I would definitely stay away from all proteins with this type of problem. If you want to see how that is, just spend a couple of weeks all raw and then go out and have a bunch of protein, and I'll show you. Just you'll see for yourself what it'll do to them. Until you heal them up, you're gonna feel the kick from that. Severe dandruff. Well, that's severe lymph lack of lymph drainage out of the head. And so you really want to move your lymph, because this is a long way from these kidneys, and that there's a lot in between here. So you really want to get those kidneys filtering, go after those adrenal glands, and really move that lymph. You know, you can keep scrubbing and keep cleaning this way, hot and cold compresses or showers. You know, get in a hot water and then cool it down. But in reality, this is an internal problem, and you're not draining down. And you really want to drain down and get your kidneys, because this also means it's in the brain. It also means it's through the chest area or breast. You know, it's all through you. So you want to move lymph. That's how important this is. Said the thyroidectomy, and I think it's the same one. I'm now on 175 micrograms of Synthroid, but nothing for the first 30 years. Yeah, I addressed that in another video. And, well, you know what? If you don't need something, I view you don't need to take it. You know, the idea of these herbs isn't to live on them. The idea is to use things to help you regain your vitality. I'm a Hippocratean in the sense that let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food. Problem is we don't have good food and we're advanced in our weaknesses at the cellular level and extremely lymphatically backed up. So that's why I got the herbs. Outside of that, I think your food should always be your medicine and your medicine be your food. If you can use the word medicine, I hate that word anymore because it conjures up the wrong idea of thinking. But so whatever you need to do, I address that. You know, you can use glandulars. You might not have it. You might have to do an ultrasound, see if you have any thyroid growing back or anything. See how you do. I don't know. You just have to see how you're doing. Astralized. Your thing gets me. When I look at your eye right there, dang, that's good. I love that one. I thought I addressed OCD and stuff like that, depersonalization, anxiety. I'm pretty sure I did. But I tell you, in all behavioral issues, always work on the endocrine glands. Remember, the endocrine glands in the human body are the link to the etheric bodies, your chakras for those that are into the Hinduism and Buddhism and things. The endocrine glands are everything to you. And they're being really suppressed now with just the genetics of the congestion of the human body. You know, we've suppressed the pituitary. We've really broken down the human colon to it's a mess. So the human colon, particularly, remember I said the transverse portion of the bowels relate to the head area. So really, when you see that, the thyroid is the id or the ego. When it's weak, you don't have much of a self-image. Of course, your depressions come from the parathyroid, your emotions from your adrenals. So in a physical stance, you want to go after the health of cells of those tissues, and they will then relate into the etheric counterpart and grab in there. Because the only other way is to be in the now, to where you separate yourself. The less body conscious you are, the better. Initially, you can get so body conscious. I did. It was like, oh, what's that little pain? What's that little problem? You get too body conscious, and then it pulls you down into this world. Be in the now. That pulls you out of that and get to who you are. Live in you. Be you. And then let your bodies work themselves out as you then do everything you can to follow the laws of each universe, of each realm, you know. And so each realm, there's emotional laws, there's astral laws, there's etheric laws and stuff. But you know, basically, if you be in the now, then you don't have to worry about all these laws or following this, because you're letting the highest power flow through you there is. That's where the most power is in the now. That's where it all is. And so that's what you're doing. You're pulling yourself into the eternal now. That's where the infinite is. And you're using that infinite power. That's the highest form over crystals, over everything else, is the ultimate power of consciousness itself. And so that is the strongest thing to do. And then in the physical sense, you can control what you're eating and fix that up and use the glandulars, use the herbs if you want, whatever you want to use to enhance the function of the endocrine glands, and you will start rebuilding that self in that. But you will already do it by being in the now. It's like raising the Kundalini. You can raise the Kundalini up the chakras, or you can just start with the crown chakra and go on. You can spend lifetimes playing up and down the chakras. You can simply start from the crown and go on. In other words, you are always the highest thing you can experience there is, except the Supreme Being, which the question is, how do you experience the Supreme Being? You're the doorway. You're the only doorway there is. Jesus said it, Buddha said it, Moses said it, everybody said it. You're the doorway, and you have to go through you. You're the only way. There's nowhere you can travel to find that. You can't get in a spaceship and go visit God. Can't do it. You're still in creation. So get to that you, and you'll repolarize yourself. Thanks. Now here's quite a good one. This person did a lot of raw gourmet, vegan cooked, and raw with raw dairy. Oh, raw dairy. You know, yeah, but since she was a teenager, she's run hot in body temperature with fairly regular excessive sweating. Sounds like you have a little overactive thyroid there and some mild anxiety. So sounds to me that you had a little overactive thyroid, yet low adrenal glands here. Last few years I smoked on and on, and I finally stopped again in April. After stopping the smoking, life just got better. It does get clearer, you know. I used to like that myself, just to relax. You know, I've got friends that are medical doctors, and when they come to the state, they always call me and say, "Can you get me any?" Because they distribute it in California, and many medical doctors smoke marijuana. And of course, many medical doctors in my town are cocaine freaks. I mean, there's a lot of them. Everybody knows who they are. They're cokeheads. And it's like, well, okay. A lot of lawyers and judges in this town smoke pot too. I mean, you'd be surprised who does what. You know, nobody's being truthful about nothing, and that's what I can't stand. So you're always going to find me truthful. Hard to take, I hope not, but I'm always going to be truthful about things. But I'm more clear. You don't need to have anything to make you high, because you have to make yourself high. You know, a medjool date will make me high enough. Those medjool dates are incredible. I love them. Someday I'll tell you about my Twinkie story, but I reached nirvana one time eating a Twinkie. That was incredible. I wonder what those masters were trying to do to me that night. That was wild, man. Oh well. Let me see. You took dosages of iodine. I thought I addressed this, but never want to do iodine. That stuff, and this is why the hyperthyroidism, obviously. You never do iodine. We have enough in us already, and if you're hyperthyroid, you never do iodine, or you'll get yourself wired out of limits. You'll be like Mick and Fleetwood Mac. Well, not Mick now, but Mick in the older days. This is taking weight down to 122. After this period, I wake up call on many levels. My consciousness has expanded. Good work. I started on a low-fat, high-fruit diet. Good work. Let's see, however, lately I've been noticing symptoms of thyroid adrenal imbalance. No kidding. You've already had them. You're just waking up to what's going on with you, bro. So you've already had that problem. That's why all these symptoms you were telling me through the years, this is what you have. And so you're just going to be more aware of it. That's why you can use the glandulars or use herbs and really get into the endocrine glands and really start working. I would. All the berries are good for endocrine glands. Dry skin, of course. You got a lymph problem. You got to dig in and move your lymph. Fatigue after eating even fruit. Well, even though fruit has the highest electromagnetic energy, in other words, its aura shines the brightest in all the food. Vegetables come down second. Way down second, actually, about 3,000 to 4,000 angstroms. That's considerable. That's half as much as most humans give off totally is the difference between fruit and vegetables. Then you subtract the energy it takes to digest vegetables over fruit matter, and you're at a much loss leader eating vegetables than fruit, magnetically speaking. But this is nerve energy. I mean, this is the adrenal glands. You're feeling fatigue from your adrenal glands. There's no epinephrine or norepinephrine in these fruits. They're not. If you have a lot of candida, maybe. But remember, mold doesn't grow on fruit unless they start to ferment. It grows on fermented foods, cheeses, breads, things like this. Watery eyes when yawning. So your lymph is really backed up. That's your lymph system there. And you really got to move your lymph system. I have put back on weight over 3 months. I just lost about 137. Well, you know, you're seeing this is the one I said you're on a 3,500 to 4,000 calorie diet. I don't pay any attention to that. But really, keep working on your kidney and adrenals, Christopher, and move your lymphs. Get into your bowels, clean up your bowels, and really move on your lymph. If that's in the picture, you look like a young fella. So you know you really have those genetics in those, and keep working on them. Something had to cause a hyperthyroidism early on. It could be the pituitary, or it could be iodine stuck in the thyroid. Inorganic iodine will stay in the thyroid and stimulate it for years. So just keep detoxifying yourself. Take the, we have an endocrine gland herbal formula, we have an adrenal herbal formula, and then we use the glandulars on that. But hyper, remember I talked about this before, hyper always goes hypo. In the end stages, everybody fails, everybody goes down. So anything that was hyper will end up going hypo, and chronic is always much more difficult to deal with than subacute. You have 4 stages: acute, subacute, chronic, and degenerative. So acute is the beginning stages of something, just pain you're just starting, mucus congesting from eating a bunch of cheese. Keep suppressing that and it becomes subacute. And most people don't have a clue at the subacute levels, except maybe somebody becomes hyper or hypoactive a little bit. But then when things really get chronic, that's when we really go, whoa, wait a minute here. I'm just so tired. And a lot of people, kids are coming in with chronic level adrenals and kidneys and things. So we're bringing people out of the chronic and oftentimes degenerative areas in the young people and have to bring them all the way back through those stages to a state of health again. So it's some work, and it's just what we're up against. And I love about you guys, you're right on, you're right there, and I really appreciate that. I hope these are used as educational videos, because the physicians out there, we got a lot of work ahead of ourselves. We got to drop all this pseudo thinking of pharmaceutical crap and stuff like that. Someone asked me if I could give a talk on 2012. Maybe. This is, I see you all the time. I don't know if you haven't, what your name is here, sweetheart, but you have arthritis in my toe and fingers. Suffer from acid reflux. If I go all raw, it goes. Diagnosed with osteopenia due to a fall and a broken bone in my shoulder. Well, it didn't heal well, did it? Well, because you're not moving your lymph. I mean, when you say acid, that's all you need, that first word, acid. And acid reflux isn't just in the stomach. You have acid in the joints. Whenever you feel your joints, that's acid. You feel your feet, that's acid. You damage. When you're acidic and you have trauma to tissue, it never wants to heal right. And then you can get osteopenia or osteoporosis, because you're going to lose calcium in the effort of the body to deal with that acid, and it's just sitting there chewing and chewing and chewing and chewing. It's like having a party and nobody wants to go home. And that's, you got to make everybody go home. And that's moving these acids out of your body there. And that's real important. You're almost healed now. Well, dig into that lymph, sweetheart. Get in there and get that lymph moving. Get your kidneys and adrenals. That'll bring up your steroids as well. But get those kidneys filtering and let this heal up. If you're low in your parathyroid, take a parathyroid. Accelerate the putting the calcium back in the bones. I'd be looking at my parathyroid. If this is your picture, I can tell you got kidney and adrenals. So you really want to work on this, sweetheart. And get those going. She's 57 years old. She's in pretty good health. She's a little overweight. Well, you could see that, and that's your adrenal glands. But you fix all that up. You really got to fix that. Adrenals controls kidneys, and that reaches up in the shoulders and reaches in the breast. You can get fibrocystic breasts if you're not careful here. You know, this will reach everywhere: hips, knees, ovaries, so uterus. So be careful here, honey. You should dig in. You're thinking about the Hill tea. Well, you can use that and get high up on the fruit, the grape fast, and play with this. Keep digging deeper into the body. Get up on some fasting and play with some fasting issues here and help move that lymph. If you can, kidneys, something for the adrenals, the lymphatic system, and the GI tract, that Fab 4. Always the Fab 4. I don't care what you write me with. I'm going to keep tying you back to that, because that's the essential causative factors of the human body. I think a lot of you are starting to understand the human body in simplistic terms and notice that not a big deal. We should have learned the human body more in simplistic terms earlier on in our lives, wouldn't you think, in 2011? This was asking me about some belly fat, and I wouldn't know about that. Oh, God. I'm almost 20 years old. 20 years old. And since I was 17, I started having thinning of the hair on top of the head. That's not good. Well, what does that mean? All right. My hair doesn't grow long anymore. So she's losing hair and she's not growing hair. Is this a girl or a man? I don't know. Or is it diet, foods, herbs I consume to help regrow my hair? I'm not sure what else to say. Okay, so this is about your lymph. There's no question. You're not moving your lymph up in your head, and the sad thing is that you're young. So you really want to move your lymph. Use upper circulation. It's a formula I have to get. Now this is a blood formula though, but it really will move blood up into these areas. And it'll aggressively make hair grow. At the same time though, you're losing it because of what? Not a lack of blood, I'm sure, or you'd be saying things like, honey, where'd I park the car? No, it's also the lymph not moving, and so you want to move your lymph system, real important, up in the head area. Check your clean up your bowels. I can just tell you that. Get your kidneys and adrenals going. You know, at your age, you got to deal with that too, no matter what. And so that's why I love the herbs. You know, get up and get things done with them. So, yeah, get up in upper circulation, use that formula, move your lymph, get your kidneys and adrenals back on going, and check your thyroid a little bit here. Another question here was about fatty liver. Now, why would you get a fatty liver? Why would you get a fatty lung, fatty kidney? Why would you get fatty anything? Well, I think in these videos you've learned that fats are used as antacids, particularly the cholesterol varieties of lipids. So I can just tell you that that means that if fats are used as antacids and you're getting fatty deposits, would that also tell you that you have acids that are not going anywhere and your body's trying to stop them from damaging itself? Absolutely. So that's going to be the kidneys and adrenals again, but also go to that GI tract. Start cleaning on that GI tract, trying to open up. Try to pull some of that lymph through the walls, because if you're getting a fatty liver, that means interstitial lymphatic constipation is not only in your liver, it's in your GI tract wall as well, and probably in the pancreas a little bit as well. So you got to watch that there. You don't want to get hurt, break down your liver at all. Recent blood tests and CAT scans indicate that I have a fatty liver. You don't have to be an alcoholic to get a fatty liver. You just have to not move your lymphs to get a fatty liver, and that's even the worst kind right there. It could be due to prescription meds. Sometimes I forget the fact that these guys really cause a lot of acidosis and a lot of damage to tissue. So, yep, you're right. Same thing, though. Same thing. Move that lymph, get that body moving. Pastas and things like that, that's not going to cause so much damage like that. That's interstitial lymphatic constipation. That's a much more serious problem than eating some rice. So you're in the process of taking care of this. Good. What meds are you on and what for? I mean, really go after your health and rethink all that. Maylin, I can tell by the name it's GI tract issues. So go after the GI tract, Maylin, and really go after your kidneys as well, your adrenals. You're going to see all those things involved in you. And go into your GI tract. Use the stomach and bowel formula. You could use a liver formula to help with the liver, no question about it. I'd use the stomach and bowel, the liver formula. Get into those kidneys, sweetheart, and also get those adrenals on, okay? And you'll pull yourself out of this, all right? As you can see, we're going to be here. You know, I've got easy this much more to answer this afternoon if I can, and then I've got a whole bunch more here. So I'm sorry if I'm boring you, but I just, these are the questions you asked me, so we'll keep going here. My 5-day course is a little more aggressive than this, but it's still 5 days with me. JG asked 10 people for their definition of true health, and I suspect you'll get at least 8 different. Yeah, I do that a lot. Running craze in the 70s and wrote the latest book, The Complete Book of Running. Could do all things he wanted. He was dead the next day. You know, that's the point. You bring up, I mean, I love your awareness, because you got good awareness, JG. Is that your name? What is your name? You got to write it to me sometime. But, yeah, you hit it right on the head. This is why being in the now and being happy in every moment and really knowing who you are and more about the God worlds and the Supreme Being, however you look at it. Being at that level is much more securative and gives you more ecstasy and nirvana of the time. Just makes you happier and plugged in, and nothing can touch you. You're at you. You can't die from that. So yeah, but you just never know. You want to know where I put them?
Yeah.
You know what? I laid them out somewhere because they were all rolled up.
Yeah, that's the hope.
And that's in your room. It's in your room on your shelf. It's in the where all the iridology stuff is. There's a good naturopath over in New Zealand that's come out with a neat iris chart, and I love his iris chart. So we just got a bunch in, but they came all curled up. But it's a good way of looking at the eyes, and sometime I'll show you that. Maybe I have already. Where do I buy Armor? You have to see your medical doctor for that. Armor is a prescription. It's a natural T3. Better than Synthroid, though. I will have to agree. You're on Leverox, so that's even better than that, too. I got the Armor Exchange. Yeah, you can. Yep. I would do that. But I would definitely use the glandulars on my thyroid, unless you have had your thyroid. I remember your face before if you've had your thyroid removed. If not, definitely work on your thyroid with a glandular and bring that up. And that way you can titrate if you want off your other ones, and pretty soon you won't need any T3 or T4. Your thyroid will be producing it. You might have to look at your pituitary and see if you're on a glandular a while and it doesn't help, then you need to take a pituitary and go more that way here. The Heal All Tea for bladder infection, absolutely. Suck it down, baby. Bring down that, suck that Heal All Tea for that bladder infection. Remember, what's an infection? Bacteria? No, acidosis, the lymph. Bacteria's only eating. They're only hungry little fellas. You know, don't get upset at them. You know, they're only trying to help you. It's your lymph that's the problem. So you want to work on the kidney and bladder with the kidney and bladder formulas. Probably take 2 of them. If you're having a immediate infection like that, you'll feel that also if I'm pulling too hard or you're pulling too hard on your lymph system and your kidneys can't tolerate it. Most kidneys are so weak now they're not filtering anyway, and then when you're pulling too much lymph into them, it can really get them. So you would take the kidney and bladder formulas. I take both of them about every 3 hours, a dropper full every 3 hours. I recommend a whole dropper full. There's 2 halves for those that can't squeeze that nipple too hard, but half a dropper full, 2 of those, or more. They can't hurt you. So a dropper full, Richard Schultz says 45 drops, he's the strongest. Well, I double that, Richard, and you can even triple that. And you won't find them any stronger than mine. I know what you claim, but mine's real strong too. But yeah, go aggressively with that. I would take the Parasite in probably just to keep down the low roaring of the crowd. Let me see here. I have Heglin's deformity on both heels. Yeah, I've addressed that before. We were talking about the arch earlier, breaking down. I think that everything can be strengthened up in the human body no matter what it is. And remember I said I had that spinal bifida case that was born without L4 and L5 and has L4 and L5 now after 3 years raw. That's pretty darn good. That's pretty darn good. let's see, 4 years realized our lymphatic systems need to be overhauled. Avery has some post-injury subcutaneous nodules on his head. And in nursing years ago, I picked up a few issues of my own. If you got tumors in the head, that's his lymph system. And in nursing, I can imagine what you picked up there. So detox, 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 sweetheart. Detox your hubby. Really, if that's who you're talking about. And really get in there and move these. You want these tumors out of the head. I mean, because, you know, too long, the more damage, talking about the hard drive here. So, yeah, you really want to get that out of there. That's heavy lymph work. That's kidney, adrenals, stomach and bowel. Remember, always work on the Fab 4. Key Fab 4. Hit them. Stomach and bowels, hit it hard. Kidney and bladder, 2 formulas at least. Go into the adrenal glands, hit that. And get on those lymphs. Lymph node 2. Real strong for tumors. Lymph node 2. Lymphatic 3 as well. Very powerful on tumors and lymph node stagnation. But you got to fix the kidneys. You got to get the kidneys going or just make these grow. You got to get those kidneys worked on and clean yourself out. You know, blood's easy to clean up. Clean the liver, clean the spleen. Blood formula is a great formula to clean the blood. That your lymph directly impacts the blood toxicity. So get on that lymph, both of you guys, and you'll be okay. Idiopathic peripheral neuropathy for 17 years. Parathyroid surgery. Ow! Now is he diagnosed as a diabetic? I'm interested about the parathyroid and diabetes. I always wondered what connection maybe does calcium have in that. But anyway, I hope they didn't remove all your parathyroid glands. That wouldn't be good. So you'd want to take the glandular for parathyroid, Calma Plus or something like that. Again, move your lymphs because acids are going to break down your nervous system. This neuropathy could be related to systemic inflammation inside the body. Remember, all your nerve endings in your hands and feet. So you want to check that out. Really, your adrenal glands. It's the kidney and adrenals. Your blood sugar is 137 after grapes. That's because you're glucose loading, to be honest with you. It's not from grape sugar. But just get your adrenals up, that sugar metabolism, get your kidneys. You can tell that you're failing there. That's why you're seeing the peripheral. You're losing your myelin sheaths even a little bit. That's your adrenal glands, low neurotransmitters. So work on your kidneys, work on your adrenal glands, get your lymph moving, work on the GI tract here. Real important there. Use the brain and nerve formula if you want to enhance the nervous system. Get that parathyroid. Take the glandular parathyroid. That's where a glandular really comes in, and perk that up. And you should be good there. Lori, good. Hey, Daniel, what about fresh figs? Love them. Lemonade, I haven't talked to you in a while. I'm going to take time. I did acid and nerve damage over the right. I mean, for a long time, depends on. Go for it, sweetheart. Woo, woo, woo. Tell Drew I did. I did tell Drew. Drew, he's a good kid. He's fighting his Tourette's. He's doing good. He's getting better, and he loves all you guys. And so I appreciate you supporting him. Okay, Retreat Chef. What do we got here? Water and fruit diet? Go for it, man. Yeah. Explain more about the herbs and show the kits and bottles. I'll do that. They always yell at me because I'm always a little bashful about showing my stuff. I like that. I don't want you to get the wrong idea. I'm not doing these videos for selling herbs. I'm doing them to educate you and change the consciousness on the planet. So I've always been a little shy doing that. So maybe I'll have Jennifer do that sometime and show you what we made, But always, I love them. I love herbs, and so I will. One day we'll do that. Jennifer can send you a list of all our herbs. They're on the pharmacy website. It's on the YouTube channel there. It's naturesbotanicalpharmacy.com. Feeling a little bit better, aching in my lower back kidney area. Yeah, normal detox symptom there, Jackie Doe. Yeah, that's normal. Well, that just shows you have a weakness there, though. When you're feeling a symptom on detox, it's really bringing in the fact that you have a weakness there. and you've got to fix that. So just keep working. Maybe slow down on the lymphatic formulas, speed up on the kidney and adrenal formulas. All right, you guys, I will probably talk to you more this afternoon. I've got another big pile of these to address to you. If I can get caught up, now you have to wait till Chris can get them up. So we're trying. I really am humbled that you all are enjoying these, and I love your positive feedback. Your positive feedback feeds us, because we hear so much negative because of people's pain and suffering, that your positive feedback is so good for us. And it just makes us want to embrace you guys even more. We appreciate people who appreciate our hard work. Thank you.